Right, here's your circle vocabulary. The first thing we have here is going to be a picture of our circle, reminding us from 5.1 what our diameter is, what our radius is, and what the circumference is. Remembering the circumference is the actual line that we draw for the circle, because this word will come up. First word that we are going to define is chord. Your chord is a segment that has both endpoints on the circumference. I want you guys to make sure that you highlight the word segments. Very, very important. We know that this is a segment. Okay? We'll draw our circle, and we're going to call this circle A. And then we'll put a couple points on the circumference. Here's point B. Here's point C. Your chord is going to start at B and end at C. And we can name this segment BC. The next word we're going to look at is what's called a secant. A secant is now going to be a line, and it's going to intersect a circle at 2 points. So we want to make sure that we highlight line. Again, it is a line that intersects a circle at 2 points. Here is our circle A again, with our points B and C. So instead of the chord, where it's like an extension cord, there's a start and stop, we're now going to have a secant that will slice through, so it's actually going to be a line that goes through both of those points and continues in both directions. So we can name this line BC. Remembering that with segments and lines, you can also switch the 2 letters around. The next word is tangent. Your tangent is going to be a line again, so making sure that we're understanding this is a line. Highlight that, please. It's a line that touches only one point on the circumference. I want you guys to make sure that you highlight that one as well. When we draw this circle, again, circle A, and we can have our point B and C again, but this time the tangent is only going to cross through one of those points on the circumference. Now, to name it, a line has to have 2 points. So we're going to have to make sure there is another point over here on this line, and now we can name it line CD. Next, we are going to define what a central angle is. A central angle is what it sounds like. It's in the center. It's going to be an angle whose vertex is at the center of a circle. And we also need to be aware that the rays that form this angle form your radii, or form a couple radii. This is plural for radius. So here, if we have our circle A, we have points B and C. Now we're going to form an angle, so we're going to go from B to C to A, and we will form 2 different central angles. We will have a smaller angle here, and we'll have a larger angle here. Both will add up to our total degrees in a circle, 360 degrees. So here, this is forming our central angle, and we will call this angle BAC. Next, I ran out of space, so I'm going to go to my next page. and we are going to define what an arc is. An arc is going to be a portion or part of the circumference. So we're not going to have the entire circumference. Okay, it is formed with a central angle here, but the arc is now going to be this part right here, just the portion of it. And just like a line or segment, you'll use it, you'll name it with the 2 points, BC, but the symbol above is not going to be exactly what an arc looks like, and it will say arc BC. We'll talk about the different kinds of arcs. Minor arc. This is an arc whose measure is less than 180 degrees. Okay? So if we have circle A here, I'm going to draw it a little bit different than the last one. Here's point B and C. Okay? Here's the angle we're looking at, and the arc, the minor arc that goes with it is right here. A minor arc is named with 2 letters. So we will call this arc BC because we're looking at this one right here. Next, we will define a major arc. A major arc is going to be the opposite. It is an arc whose measure is more than 180 degrees. So if we take a look pretty much at that same circle we had there, here's circle A, we've got point B and C. We are now going to be looking at the other side of it over here, this central angle, creating this major arc. Now a major arc, we cannot call it arc BC because we already have that up here. So we need to be aware of, as a major arc is bigger, we need more letters. So we're going to have 3 letters. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple points on here. Let's put point D right here, and we could put point E right here. When you name it, you need to use B and C on the outside, just like an angle. But it doesn't matter whether you use point D or point E in the middle. So we can name this arc BDC. But if you choose, you can also use point E instead of point D. Okay? Next, we're going to talk about a semicircle. A semicircle is going to be an arc whose measure is exactly 180 degrees. This is formed, or these, you will have 2 of them, formed by the diameter. Sorry for the sloppy handwriting, I'm just trying to make this as quick as possible. So when we have this, we're going to wind up, here's our circle, and we're going to draw in our diameter here. Segment BC will be our diameter. Just like your major arc, it has to be named with 3 letters. So we have 1 semicircle up here, so we will have to add in another point. And this will be named arc BDC. And then we do have another semicircle on the other side. We'll have to add in a point somewhere over here. Call that point E. And we will name that arc BEC. The last vocabulary word for this video is going to be sector. So we'll look at a sector. A sector is a pie-shaped region of a circle pie-shaped region of a circle bounded by the central angle and its intersected arc. So here, if we draw our circle A, we put in our points B and C on our circumference, it is going to involve that central angle, as it says here, bounded by the central angle and its intersected arc. So between the space or the region between this point, the central angle, and the bounded arc. So that is going to consist of this area right here. So it kind of looks like a piece of pie. All right? And that's your vocabulary.